Hello guys. This story dives deep into a world where World War III did begin, but the nukes refused to detonate. What stopped Armageddon? Let's unravel a thriller of betrayal, control, and humanity's darkest trade-off. The clock in the bunker didn't tick, it hunted. A crimson beam of LED light swept the walls like a sniper's laser sight, slicing time into seconds that bled. General Marcus Thorne stood rigid, his starched uniform hugging him like a tailored body bag. On the main screen bloomed a map. Grotesque in its beauty, a lattice of missile trajectories arcing across the globe like veins pulsing with imminent doom. Each line wasn't just a path, it was a prophecy. Fire, fallout, finality. This was 0 hour, the second the world would be split not by ideology, but by ignition. Thorne held his breath, lungs filled with the imagined ashes of billions. And then, nothing. No tremors. No detonations. The screen remained quiet, indifferent. Just a map, just lines. But beneath that silence, the universe itself seemed to flinch. A junior analyst, his face pale as bone, stammered, "Sir, no detonations confirmed, anywhere." The words hung in the sterilized air, an impossible heresy. Thorne's knuckles were white on the console's edge. He'd given the order himself. He had turned the key that was supposed to turn the world to ash. Across the globe, in similar bunkers, his counterparts. In Moscow, Beijing, and Delhi stared at their own silent screens. The planet held its breath, braced for a death that never came. The great, terrible symphony of annihilation had been written, the conductors were in place, but the instruments themselves had refused to play. The silence that followed was louder than any explosion. It was a deafening, global question mark. The first week was chaos disguised as control. World leaders, their voices strained, blamed sophisticated nation-state cyber attacks. It was a plausible lie, but one that frayed at the edges. Every silo, every submarine, every bomber, from every nation had reported the same impossible failure. The launch mechanisms worked perfectly, the missiles flew true. But the warheads, the very heart of their power, were inert. The world had pulled the trigger on its own execution, and the gun had jammed in a way that defied all logic. Dr. Aris Thorne, Marcus's estranged son and a leading mind in quantum computing, was pulled from his university lab and dropped into a high-security research bunker. His task, find the ghost in the machine. It's not physics, he told his father during a tense, encrypted call a month later. The warheads are perfect. The problem is the firmware in the detonation controllers. There's a dormant string of code buried under layers of quantum encryption. It's a kill switch. And Dad, it's in everything. Ours, the Russians, the Chinese, everyone's. The architecture is identical. Marcus's voice was gravel. Find who put it there, Aris. Find the traitors. But his eyes, even over the distorted video feed, held a chilling stillness. The conventional war, unshackled from the nuclear threat, had exploded. It was a feast for the military-industrial complex. New tanks rolled off assembly lines to be incinerated in the Ukrainian mud. Fifth-generation fighters dueled over the Taiwan Strait, their multi-million-dollar wreckage littering the ocean floor. The body count soared, and defense stocks went with it. It was brutal, profitable slaughter, and the world's power brokers seemed almost relieved to be fighting a war they could manage, a war that made money instead of ending worlds. Agent Kaelen Reed of MI6 didn't buy the official story. She specialized in sniffing out conspiracies, and this smelled like the biggest one in history. The idea that a single hostile power could insert identical code into every nuclear weapon on Earth without detection was ludicrous. The breach had to have come from within, from all of them. She started digging into the supply chains, the private contractors who built the guidance and detonation systems, the powerful men who sat on their boards. Her search led her to a series of shell corporations, all funneling money to a single, shadowy holding company. As she peeled back the layers, she found names that made her blood run cold. Names from her own government, from the Pentagon, from the Kremlin, from the People's Liberation Army. Her unsanctioned investigation put her on a kill list. A failed assassination attempt in her London flat sent her underground, forcing her to seek the only other person she knew was asking the right questions. She found Aris Thorne, not through official channels, but through a darknet contact, warning him that his life was also in danger. "They're not looking for a ghost, Doctor," she told him in their first clandestine meeting in a Zurich train station. "They're hunting you. Your father put you on this to control the investigation, to lead you down rabbit holes. You're getting too close." The betrayal was a physical blow to Aris. He re-examined his father's directives, the subtle misdirections, the classified data that led nowhere. It all clicked into place. His father wasn't trying to solve the mystery, he was managing it. He and Kaelen became fugitives, a scientist and a spy, hunted by a global shadow state. They pieced together the horrifying truth. This was no peace movement, it was a business decision. A cabal of the world's most powerful military and industrial leaders had orchestrated the whole thing. For decades, they had secretly collaborated, using their immense influence to install the kill switch. Their motive was terrifyingly simple: mutually assured destruction was bad for business. Nuclear winter had no stock market. They hadn't prevented WW3. They had enabled it, ensuring it would be a long, conventional, and obscenely profitable conflict. Their journey took them from the Arctic bunkers of abandoned NATO listening posts to the encrypted vaults of Dubai's data black markets. Each revelation pushed them closer to the edge, and deeper into the crosshairs. They learned the names of the 12, not just military generals and CEOs, but media moguls, tech billionaires, even a Nobel Peace Prize laureate. The illusion of peace had been curated, sold, and profited from, a masterpiece of manipulation hidden beneath wars of attrition. In one heart-stopping moment, Kaelen was captured during an off in Jakarta. Aris, refusing to leave her behind, orchestrated a rescue using stolen intel and an EMP blast that shut down half the city's grid. That event triggered global alerts, revealing their location and putting every agency on their trail. But it also uncovered the final missing link, a digital ledger proving every transaction made by the Cabal, including bribes to silence whistleblowers and fund Black Ops units. The climax came in a data haven hidden in the Swiss Alps. Aris and Kaelen had the proof, encrypted communications, offshore financial records, and a chilling manifesto co-signed by a dozen men, including General Marcus Thorne. It was a declaration of a new world order, one managed by the shepherds of perpetual war. As they prepared to upload the data to every news outlet and government on the planet, the doors slid open. General Thorne stood there, flanked by elite special forces from 3 different countries, all working as one. "You've done well, son," Marcus said, his voice devoid of emotion. "But you don't understand the game." He didn't deny it. He justified it with chilling clarity. "We saved the world, Aris. We took the apocalypse off the table. We gave humanity an enemy it could fight without ending itself. We are the guardians of the human race, not its destroyers. Your war profiteers, murderers on a global scale," Kaelen spat. Words Marcus dismissed. The alternative was ash. He then delivered the final, crushing blow. "You see, the kill switch isn't permanent. We hold the reactivation keys. All of us. If you release that data, if you expose us, we will light the fire ourselves. The world will be plunged back into nuclear terror, but this time knowing their own leaders were ready to sacrifice them for profit. The chaos would be absolute. The launches would be real." It was the ultimate checkmate. Expose the truth and risk immediate nuclear holocaust, or stay silent and condemn millions to die in a manufactured conventional war. Aris looked at the cold, resolute face of his father, a man who would burn the world to protect his monstrous vision of order. He looked at the upload prompt on the screen. He saw the trap. He was supposed to back down. He was supposed to choose the lesser of 2 evils. Instead, he chose a third. With a few keystrokes, he changed the distribution list. He didn't just send the proof of the conspiracy. He attached a second file, the reactivation keys. He sent everything, to the UN, to the G7, to every major news network, every intelligence agency, every known hacktivist collective on the planet. He open-sourced Armageddon. The effect was instantaneous and absolute. The Cabal's blackmail was worthless. Their power was gone. But what replaced it was something far more terrifying. The world's armies ground to a halt, not out of a desire for peace, but out of sheer, unadulterated terror. The balance of power was shattered. Now, it wasn't just a handful of leaders with their fingers on the button. It was anyone with the right skills. The nuclear threat was no longer a state-held monopoly. It was a global vulnerability. The war ended, replaced by a fragile, silent, planet-wide standoff. It wasn't peace. It was a permanent state of crisis, an existence predicated on the hope that out of 8 billion people, no one would be mad, careless, or vengeful enough to turn the key. Humanity had been saved from its leaders, only to be placed at the mercy of itself. This story explored not just a global conflict, but the idea that our technology is a reflection of our inner selves. It suggests that our collective consciousness might have a power we don't yet understand. Now, if you found this journey thought-provoking, please like, share, and subscribe for more stories that question the world we think we know.